President Biden visits at HBCU in North Carolina.
And it was a day at the races here at UNCP to raise awareness of interpersonal violence.
Those stories plus, PAC packs the house with their 29th annual talent show. I'm Jay Locklear.
And I'm Jayla Coley. Welcome back to another episode of Carolina News Today.
President Joe Biden is urging Congress to pass legislation that counters China's growing economic influence. During a trip to North Carolina A&T, he said companies want to invest in American manufacturing, technology, research, and development. Biden says this bill could help that, as well as America's economic strength and national security.
Other countries are closing in fast. We can and we must change that. Not by hurting other countries, but by developing ourselves. We have a great opportunity ahead of us with the Bipartisan Innovation Act I mentioned, which is going to provide $90 billion in research and development, STEM education, manufacturing, all those elements of the supply chain that we need to produce end products right here in America.
While speaking, Biden also acknowledged the growing inflation crisis. He says Russia's invasion of Ukraine has driven up gas and food prices around the globe.
The Chemours Company has reached an agreement with the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. The company operates a facility in Fayetteville that has been identified as the source of the chemical Gen X discharge into the Cape Fear River, in addition to private well water contaminations and air pollution. Chemours has agreed to further limit emissions, conduct more testing of their smokestacks, and pay the penalty assessed by the Division of Air Quality. Chemours had contested the judgment against them last year, but will now pay the $305,000 penalty.
UNCP's Army ROTC is staying fit to fight, with early morning aquatic physical training this past week. The cadets also had the opportunity to complete a ruck march, where they carried the weight of their rucksacks for a couple of miles. CNT reporter Sonny Delmar has more.
Here at UNCP, the Army ROTC program aims to attract, motivate, and prepare selected students to serve as commissioned officers in the United States Army. Cadets train to stand strong during tough ruck marches and be proficient swimmers in the water during pool PT. This past week, Brave Company had pool PT, while Fayetteville State cadets had combat water survival training. Promoting professionalism, fitness, and safety, cadets are able to get a great workout in while having fun. Brave Company's physical fitness serves as a place where cadets can build up their strength, boost morale, and gain confidence throughout the program.
Our goal for today is just to make sure that everybody gets out there in the pool, build a little bit of confidence and understanding of how to swim, when to swim, and how necessary it is for the actual military or Army as a whole.
Swimming isn't the only physical aspect important in the Army. Whereas Brave Company also conducted an 8-mile ruck march with dummy rifles last Thursday at Luther Brick Park in Lumberton. Cadets were given thorough instructions, stocked up on water, and an important safety briefing before stepping off on the ruck march. The ruck was a timed event in order to allow cadets to push themselves and their peers to roll on through the finish line. No matter the circumstances, no matter the challenge, the Braves will surely always lead the way. I'm Sonny Delmar.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, a time to focus our attention on the prevalence of sexual assault and educate communities. On campus, Student Health Services, along with other organizations, hosted an event that got students giddying up on inflatable ponies in a friendly competition, while also educating students about interpersonal violence prevention. Let's take a look.
On last Tuesday, UNCP Student Health Services hosted its annual Pony Palooza for Prevention to stress the importance of interpersonal violence awareness. This is the first time in 3 years that students were able to participate in this event due to the effects of the coronavirus. Kayla Vera McBride, peer mentor for the Transfer and Commuter Center, says that Pony Palooza has given her the chance to use her voice and take a stand.
My passion really came from just really realizing that there's so many teenagers, so many people experience domestic violence, and so that's kind of where I decided to actually stand up for people.
Organizations on and off campus, such as UNCP's Housing and Residence Life and the Rape Crisis Center of Robertson County, were there to provide valuable information to students. They also made sure that students were aware of their resources. Destiny Chambers, Community Director of Pine Hall, says that Housing and Residence Life works closely with Student Health Services to advocate for the needs of the students.
Both of us work very closely with students, and letting our residents know and our on-campus students know that they have a support system to use us as a voice to get them to connected to resources on campus means a lot.
UNCP's Police and Public Safety grilled hot dogs for people to enjoy, while Campus Recreation made sure that students were signed up to compete in the pony races. Jalen Wynn, Assistant Director of Health Promotions for Student Health Services, says that after students test rode the ponies, they felt more confident competing in the contest.
At first they were kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I want to do this, because they see the ponies and they don't want to hop around on it. But some people got out here and started practicing first, and I think that kind of made them more comfortable when they seen the students practicing.
In the end, both UNCP's wrestling and swim teams tied as champions for the competition. For Carolina News Today, I'm Jayla Coley.
A planned demonstration to support the return of the UNCP drag show was postponed this week because of the weather. Students were set to meet outside Livermore Library and march to Lumbee Hall. A petition on change.org claims the event was canceled to protect the school's image. But according to Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs Jeff Howard, there were public threats made on social media. Drag shows in Lumberton have been on the receiving end of violent threats in recent months, including a death threat against the owner of Top That Dessert Lounge. Drag shows have been hosted on campus for several years prior to the pandemic. Last night, the university went ahead with their Pride Month event that included a resource fair and a sit-down interview with one of the drag queens who had been scheduled to perform. Public Activities Council, also known as PAC, hosted their annual talent show competition that allowed students to show off their gifts. CNT associate producer Josh Baker attended the show, which offered a variety of talents.
UNCP continued a long-standing tradition last week as it held its 29th annual student talent show competition. After auditions, 9 finalists showed off their talents at the Givens Performing Arts Center last Tuesday the 12th. The event was hosted by UNCP alum, spoken word poet, and previous winner of the talent show, Nick Corman. Corman spoke about his impressions of this year's contenders.
Like the diversity, in the acts. It wasn't just all singers. It wasn't like all like poets or dancers. Like it was a good mix, and everybody brought the kind of energy that they needed to bring to have a great show. The audience was good. It was a great show. I was just glad to facilitate it. You know what I'm saying?
A panel of 4 judges with varied backgrounds were chosen from around the campus. They had the difficult job of picking the top 3 winners. The show featured prizes, with a top prize of $300 for Best Act. Ultimately, singer Joshua McEachern took the top spot with his rendition of Bruno Mars's "If I Was Your Man." For Carolina News Today, I'm Josh Baker.
Speaking of talent, last year was a record-setting year for the film and television production in the state of North Carolina. The spring report released by the North Carolina Film Office shows direct in-state spending of $416 million. It's the highest investment made by the industry since the year 2000, when the state established its first production financial incentives. TV shows shot in the Wilmington area include Our Kind of People for Fox and Hightown for Starz. Feature films shot in Charlotte include the long-awaited adaptation of Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, starring Rachel McAdams.
A North Carolina's rapper's home is threatened.
And a HBCU's Greek plot is vandalized.
A bird reunites with its family after going missing for 3 years.
Those stories and more when we return.
We may measure success differently, but our paths all start with a choice. Believe in your dreams. Believe in yourself. Dream bigger. Reach higher. Go farther. Choose quality. Opportunity. Experience. However you measure success, you can get there from here. Choose UNC Pembroke. Choose to be a brave.
Howard University officials have launched an investigation after some of the fraternity and sorority areas on campus were vandalized overnight Tuesday. Carl Willis of WJLA reports.
It's a campus steeped in tradition, a cornerstone of black culture.
HBCUs are supposed to be a safe space.
And the site where the majority of the black Greek letter organizations were founded.
At the end of the day, HBCUs are such a sacred place for African Americans. We're able to come here and be ourselves, and it really is a sanctuary.
But overnight Tuesday,
our sanctuary is violated.
Violated by a vandal. Delta Sigma Theta, Kappa Alpha Psi, and Alpha Kappa Alpha all found their plots in the heart of campus, sloppily tagged with black paint.
They came in and defaced our property. It really hit home. It was very personal.
And the response was fast.
We knew we just had to fix it in that moment.
Graduating senior and painting major Kendall Robinson got right to work with her sisters, leaving hardly a trace of the vandalism by Wednesday afternoon.
We had a lot of Greek unity as well, so some of the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity came out to support us, and Omega Psi Phi too.
Yes, it hurt us, but we were no, this will be fixed, this will be restored, and we are okay. We will make a beautiful situation out of something that's very awful.
This is just a great example of how we need to increase securities at HBCUs. Just another thing that I hope the university will take seriously.
Howard University said in a statement that the individuals found to be responsible for the vandalism will be dealt with accordingly.
A small town in North Carolina is home to a big name rapper, DaBaby, and police say someone tried to jump over a fence on his property Wednesday night and got shot in the leg. Dave Faherty of WSOC has the 911 tapes from that night.
From Chopper 9 Sky Zoom, you can see DaBaby's mansion and the football field nearby, where police say someone was shot last night. We could hear dispatchers work to get first responders to the scene.
Risk traffic, possible GSW. Stage still seems secure. Stage still seems secure.
Okay, we can't get through the gate with the ambulance. We're going in with this stretcher equipment.
Police confirmed to Channel 9 that DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Kirk, was at home with one other person when a third person scaled a fence and was shot outside near the football field. That person went to the hospital in Charlotte with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to the leg. Tonight, police aren't saying who fired the gun or if this was a case of self-defense, but did talk with us about the security around DaBaby's home.
There's a significantly tall concrete-type wall, and then it's surrounded by, on the other side, a pretty high chain-link fence.
He doesn't want people going in there.
No, just like, any other property owner, they're entitled to their right to secure their property, make sure nobody comes in.
For much of the day, we could see security posted near the entrance to the property and signs posted everywhere warning folks to stay out. Just down the street, we spoke with these two brothers who can't believe someone would try to go on the property.
I mean, if somebody's paying security to keep them safe, let them be safe.
That much property, being in Troutman, you just got to be a fool to test DaBaby. You just got to be.
The home is located on more than 8.5 acres of land, and the property is valued at nearly $2.3 million.
A nice day at the mall during Easter Sunday weekend quickly turned into people running for their lives as shots were fired in Columbia, South Carolina. Several people were sent to the hospital. 3 persons of interest have been detained. Reporter Kelsey Sanchez breaks down the details.
Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook confirming that 12 people were hurt, 10 people were shot, and they now have 3 people detained for the incident. Chaos and fear at Columbiana Center Mall Saturday afternoon after multiple rounds of gunfire was reported inside.
What we know is at least 3 people were seen with firearms inside the mall, and at least 1 person fired a weapon.
Columbia Police Chief Skip Holbrook say those gunshots left 10 people hurt, sending the majority to area hospitals. 2 others were injured due to a stampede inside the mall. The victims' ages ranging from 15 to 73 years old.
We don't believe this was random. I think that's very important in situations like this. We believe that the individuals that were armed knew each other. And there was some type of conflict that occurred that resulted in gunfire.
Multiple law enforcement agencies were on scene, including Columbia Police, Lexington County Sheriff's Department, SLUD, the FBI, and ATF. The entire area of the mall was blocked off for hours as investigators secured the area and did multiple sweeps of the mall. Shoppers and mall employees who were still inside following the shooting were asked to shelter in place until law enforcement safely escorted them out.
It's important that we put out now is that we have no fatalities.
Columbiana Center Mall is closed until further notice. In Columbia, Kelsey Sanchez.
Prisma Health reported 9 people were treated and released and 2 were admitted. The investigation is still active.
In a county just 2 hours away from Columbia, at least 9 people were wounded in a club shooting. Andy Cole from WJCL filed this report on Sunday.
We was just in the club having a good time, and shots just let out. It didn't happen inside the club, so
I think it was somebody had planned because they shot from the back. From the back of the club.
Eyewitness accounts after 9 people were shot early Easter morning in Hampton County. It happened around 2:30 at Cara's Lounge along Ashley Circle Road. Of the 9 victims, SLED says no one has died.
We just been trying to make sure and get a count of all our people and make sure everybody was okay. Even to the ones that got hit, you know, they was putting in vehicles taken to the hospital because we were just making sure everybody was safe.
I stayed down the street. I ran home.
I also spoke with the owner of the lounge off camera. He told us the incident was, quote, devastating. He says about 20 to 30 shots rang out from the back of the lounge as people were here for what they called their Easter bash. It's not clear what started the shooting.
Losing a pet is heartbreaking, but with the help from a few friendly strangers and the tune of an old TV show theme song, a family in Pennsylvania finally found their beloved bird after 3 years. Anna Sharing of WGAL reports that this bird really lives up to its name, Lucky.
When I first walked up the steps, there was this item on the corner, and I then paid attention to it, and it was a bird.
Louise Duncan was concerned about the little bird on the front porch of Christ United Methodist Church.
I knew it was not a normal bird that comes by because it had and I think it was an orange or yellow plume.
So she and the pastor called the animal rescue group Orca and corralled the bird into a box.
He was very feisty. He did not want to be in a box, wanted to get out of the little, his claws were already coming out of the little handle hole there.
Yeah, I easily picked him up, put him in the carrier, brought him right back to the office.
And posted pictures of the cockatiel on social media.
Within the hour, I think it was honestly even 30 minutes, I got the comment from Trish.
An Ephrata family recognized the bird right away. Their cockatiel, named Lucky.
Yes, the bird's name is Lucky.
Had escaped 3 years ago. They sent pictures to Orca to see if it was a match.
We were pretty sure, like 90% sure.
There was a way to be absolutely certain. Lucky's owners say they taught him how to dance to the theme song from the Andy Griffith Show. So they decided to give it a try.
He started whistling that song and the bird started dancing, kind of bobbing his head, and yeah, so we knew then that it had to be the same bird.
What a great song to dance to, I might add. I mean, how many of us don't like the Andy Griffith Show?
Lucky's rescuers don't think it was chance he landed on their door.
We take care of all God's creatures from the church.
Turns out, Lucky was really blessed.
The family was able to reunite with Lucky, but unfortunately, they now live in a smaller place and can no longer take care of him the way they would like to. So, they are working with Orca to find a new home, hoping Lucky gets lucky again.
The 24th ranked Braves baseball team hopes to keep that ranking alive.
And Braves football gets ready for their spring preview.
Deshaun Donald is up next with sports.
What's up, Brave Nation? I'm Deshaun Donald. Despite the holidays, plenty of Brave student athletes were in action over the weekend. The softball team faced off against Francis Marion University in a doubleheader Friday, just down the road in Florence, South Carolina. In Game 1, the Braves scored in 5 of the 6 innings and brought home a lopsided victory 10-2. In Game 2, the Braves loaded the bases in the top of the 5th inning to tie the score at 5 apiece. But fielding errors in the bottom of the 6th allowed the Patriots to squeeze past the Braves, handing them a 6-5 loss. The Braves have started their final home games of the regular season right now as I speak, hosting the Barton College Bulldogs here on campus. The Braves baseball team was also in conference play, traveling to Mount Olive. The Trojans came from behind in Game 1 of Friday's doubleheader to take the win 4-2. But the 24th ranked Braves rallied behind freshman pitcher Evan McLean in Game 2 to split the night with a 7-2 victory. Saturday's game went into extra innings at Scarborough Field. Again, the Trojans came from behind, blowing the Braves 4-0 lead when they tied it up in the bottom of the fifth. They went to 10 innings and the Braves did not get on board again. Mount Olive earned just one more run to take that last game 5-4. On Saturday, some of the members of the track and field team went to South Carolina for the Gamecock Invitational. Redshirt sophomore Walker Mabe registered a personal best time of 49.04 as he made his way to a second-place finish in the 400-meter dash. Freshman Cole Thomas also had a top 10 performance with an 8th place finish in pole vault, registering a new personal height of 4.55 meters. On the women's side, Quinteri Harrison placed 9th in the 400-meter hurdles with a time of 1 minute, 3 seconds, 86. Harrison also competed in the 100-meter hurdles and placed 12th. This weekend, some other track and field athletes went to Mount Olive to participate in the Trojan Relays. The Braves registered 4 event titles and 17 personal bests on the final day. Dudson Burkhart picked up the 800-meter run title with a time of 1 minute, 56 seconds, 67. Benny Oxidon, Cedric Douglas, and Sebastian Bradley all tallied personal bests in the shot put and finished in top 10. On the women's side, Jacqueline Cosgay made her debut in the 3,000-meter steeplechase in grand fashion by winning that event, while Lillian Marino placed 3rd in the shot put and 5th in discus throw, both of which resulted in personal best marks. Braves football is getting ready for the Black and Gold scrimmage on April 28. CNT sports producer Tyshawn Carter gives us this special spring preview of the hard work they're putting in to get ready for the fall season.
CP football team has started their spring practice looking to continue from the fall with its first winning season in a couple of years. The Braves took on a new conference and came out with a winning record and having players named on the all-conference team. We talked to new offensive coordinator Coach Linkles about how he's liking his new position.
The wide receiver coach, the offensive coordinator, I've had to change kind of my thought processes more, for the last 8 years, I've really been just focused on the wide receivers, and now it's kind of globally, having to see the whole offense and, more invested in just kind of everything that we're doing offense. And I think the good thing it's really challenged me to create connections with all position groups and just more responsibility and understanding that, we got to develop, every position and, worry about my position first and, just growing that offense to be on the same page. It's been a humbling and fun challenge, and very excited about it.
The new football schedule was released with 10 in-conference games. Coach Rich spoke about the spring progress.
What the spring does for us is it gets us into a place where we train. We got about 8 weeks of training where we will hit the weight room, we'll be out on the practice field and be able to condition and be able to actually do some specific drill work by position. And then what we do is we go into spring ball, and so then obviously we are able to see who can actually play and practice well and pick up the offense, defense, and special forces.
Carolina News Today, I'm Tyshawn Carter.
Yesterday's Boston Marathon marked a special anniversary for one of the runners. They didn't allow women to run in the event until 1972. One woman returned to Boston yesterday to participate 50 years after she was in the first group of the 8 women allowed to compete. Back then, she was living in Minnesota and finished up her bachelor's degree in physical education. Now she says seeing all these women in the race makes her proud and optimistic.
With my 2 daughters and my cousin, all women joining me today, it does make me tear up sometimes. It just makes me feel so good to know how opportunity has expanded for women and how women are seizing the moment and taking advantage of it.
Prior to 1972, some women did sometimes sneak into the Boston Marathon by hiding on the sidelines and joining after the race started. Usually they were confronted and physically removed from the roadways. Women's sports have come a long way since then, needless to say. Well, that's it for me. I'm Deshaun Donald, and I'll be back next week.
Thanks for the note, Deshaun. The semester is almost over, but we still have a few episodes left. I'm Jay Locklear.
And I'm Jayla Coley. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.